Welcome to Trademark News. I'm Hayley Tarr. With most people back to work, we're now seeing the first 2 weeks of data coming out from the Australian Trademarks Database for 2023. What we've seen so far is that there have been 1,689 new trademark applications for the first 2 weeks of this year. This is a significant drop from the first 2 weeks of last year, where we saw 2,417 new applications for the same period. And even more so from the year before, where there were 2,757 new applications for the same period. To some extent, this is to be expected, as during the COVID pandemic, many businesses were trying to pivot and adopt new business models and new products, and therefore needed new brands and to file new trademark applications for those brands. But if we look at pre-pandemic filing levels, we can see that there were 2,320 new trademark applications filed in the same 2-week period in 2019. So we have this year dropped below even pre-pandemic levels. This could indicate that inflation is affecting businesses and the amount of money that they're willing to spend on protecting their trademark rights. And it may have an impact on the number of trademark litigation and other contentious matters that we see coming in the near future. The other interesting thing that we can see from 2023 so far is the co-ownership issues that are arising. So as one example, there's a trademark application filed for Raucous in a number of classes relating to the music industry, where 5 co-owners have been nominated on the application. Australian trademark owners need to be aware that in Australia, just as with copyright, trademarks that are co-owned cannot be exploited without the consent of the other co-owners. So this co-ownership situation does leave all of the trademark owners vulnerable to each other. So in this band scenario, for example, one of the band members may choose to leave and then either extort the other band members for significant royalties, even though they're no longer participating in generation of the music, or it may result in that band member stopping the other co-owners from using the mark at all, meaning that they no longer can trade off that goodwill and reputation that they've spent a lot of years generating. So it is a risky scenario. In some cases, co-owners don't have any choice but to file it in their joint names, because obviously a trademark has to be filed in the name of the people who have been using it to the filing date, and unregistered trademarks cannot be assigned separate to goodwill in a business as a whole. But if this is essential to file it in a co-ownership structure, it would be prudent for the co-owners to consider, at least after the filing date, when the trademark is a separate assignable asset, to transfer that into a corporation type structure and then have the co-owners as shareholders, for example, in that corporation. Next, we see, interestingly, for 2023, that crypto is not dead. So to speak to Jennifer Hewitt's Australian Financial Review article of late last year, the 14th of December 2022, titled, "Is Crypto Dead or is it just resting?" It may not even, Jennifer, be resting. So 14 new trademark applications covered cryptocurrency or crypto in the first 2 weeks of this year. In addition to those 14, 28 new trademark applications covered NFTs and 11 new trademark applications covered blockchain. So that is a total of 47 new trademarks in the crypto and related space in the first 2 weeks of 2023. If we contrast that with last year, there were 24 new trademarks filed for these exact same descriptors in 2022, and a mere 10 for these exact same descriptors in the same period in 2021. So it does look like the crypto space is in fact ramping up, if the trademarks database is a reflection of the market. The other thing that is probably not resting is the fitness industry. There have been 44 new trademark applications covering gym or fitness in Class 41 since the start of 2023. Must be all those New Year's resolutions kicking in. But this is interesting because it's made Class 41 become one of the most commonly covered classes of all of the classes so far this year. It's only pipped by classes 9 for software and software applications, and class 35 for retail services and business administration. Now, it would be expected that these two classes are the most commonly filed classes in most cases. But class 41 is close on their heels. Now, at the other end of the scale, there have only been 2 marks filed thus far in class 23. Now, that's for yarns and threads in the textile industry, and 5 marks filed thus far in classes 15 and 27. So those classes cover musical instruments and carpet and wall coverings. These classes with very few filings probably reflect a lack of manufacturing industry and capability in Australia for those products in those classes. And they may signal to the Australian government which sectors to try and target when we're looking to deliver that federal government funding that's been earmarked to boost local manufacturing in Australia. So that's all we can share about the Australian Trademarks Database for the first 2 weeks of 2023. But stay tuned, and we'll shortly have new information coming out of the Australian Trademarks Database. This is Trademark News, and I'm Hayley Tarr.